Hey guys, and welcome back to a brand new video on the transporter. So today we're going to crack on with the T4 again, as it has been a while since we've done anything on it. And tools for today's job: axle stands, string, some spanners, some measuring devices, and of course you can't do a job without a lovely cup of tea. Right, so we're going to be getting on with the tracking. I'm not really going to show you how to do it. I'm just going to show you what I'm doing, and a few ways of making it a little bit easier. So I had to do the tracking because the steering, well, those new track rod ends that I put on, they weren't the same as the OEs. They were very similar, but just a slight difference in size. So it was hard getting it lined up, and the steering was just slightly out, ever so slightly. But it was enough to make a difference. So I parked it up here on the drive. The steering wheel's dead straight, and I've put it on put the front wheels on some metal plates, so that when I adjust the tracking, the wheels will slide sideways. The steering wheel, I'm going to have to get some rope and lock that down to maybe the brake, so that the steering doesn't move at all while I make the adjustments. But basically what I've got to do is, using the string and the axle stands, I'm going to make an imaginary box around the van, like that. So as you can see, I've made a box around the van, like an imaginary box, but it's not imaginary because we can actually see it. So I've worked it all out. I've taken measurements to make sure that this box, using the string and the axle stands, is completely square. Now I've got the tape measure across there, so I could take plenty of measurements across the back, across the front, and then I took measurements from the wheels, all from the centre of the rear wheel, and then I measured out a certain distance from the centre of each wheel, both sides, and then we got the string square, and we checked it front and back, making sure that the strings, the string was square, which, yep, it's I'm happy with that, totally dead square. And then basically, once we get round to the front here, you can see, looking down, how, it's not as bad this side, but you can see where the back of the wheel, the left hand side, is slightly closer to the string than the other side, and that's how you know your tracking's out. So on this side it's a lot more noticeable, the amount of the gap between the string and the wheel. It should be totally parallel, but clearly it's not. And then all we've got to do is we've got to make a few adjustments. So I'm going to get underneath with the camera and I'll show you these adjustments that we need to make. Right, so underneath here, as I get under here, you need to release the locking nut. So you can see it, there's a spanner there, that's on the shaft itself, and we rotate that shaft to adjust the toe in and toe out. But you've got to release that locking nut there on the track rod end.
Good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
All right, sir.
Excellent.
So far, so good.
A couple more days and it's a little holiday for you, isn't it?
You could say that.
Alright, take care, Phil. And that is, I do believe, a 24mm spanner on there. And then I used the shifter to put on to the actual shaft to twist it, but it turns out that you don't need the shifter, because where I've recently replaced everything, it's all quite nice and fresh, and I have copper slipped everything as well, so I am able to actually turn that by hand. But I've got the shifter on there just to show you that, and I think that's a 15mm spanner if you're going to use a spanner. Yeah, and then you just rotate it to adjust the toe in and toe out. But there is more detailed descriptions online. Right, so I was underneath for about 15 minutes or so, backwards and forwards, left and right, one side to the other side, making sure, checking, double checking, triple checking. It's just, I kept checking it, making sure that it was, that I could make it as accurate as possible and as straight as possible. So we have made it even on both sides of that string to the rim, so both sides are the same. It probably doesn't look like it on the camera here from this angle, but yeah, no, that's it's weird. This side's like 21mm and the other side's 20mm, but the hubs are exactly the same. I don't know. I don't know what's all that about. But no, that's I'm happy with how it looks. It looks like it's straight. It looks like it should do the job. I've gone for a dead 0 plus mileage tolerance on the toe in and toe out. I want it as, you know, I could have gone with a little bit of toe in, which, you know, can help with running true, making the car drive nice and straight and without it wandering or crabbing. But I'm happy with it being dead straight. So, and you can see there how I supported the steering wheel, tied it up with some rope. So, happy days. And a little bit of a bonus clip for you. Here we go. This is what I'm working on. We're doing, if you can't tell already, in that far corner, there's an oil catch can. Here it is down here. So it's a bit of R&D at the moment, because there isn't actually any kits for the T4 for this. So I'm kind of making it up as I go, and I could take the intercooler off, but to get to this bit here, so it comes out of the breather here, and then it will go all the way across behind, sort of like in between the dipstick and the master cylinder there, the servo, and then down here, and then it goes and connects to the oil catch can, and then the oil catch can will then return all the way back up, and then up at the top here I've got a 90 bend, and then that will go down and connect back onto the intake, and then we can connect all of that up. So that's what I'll be doing. I'm playing around with it at the moment. I'm not actually fitting it at the moment. I'm going to wait for a lovely warm day, so it may take a little while. I may get on with it in the spring, because I've got so much work going on with other vehicles. But you can see there's also the drain going down, and that will obviously be tied up somewhere, I expect, with a valve at the bottom, end cap, so that it doesn't leak oil everywhere onto the road as I'm driving. So yeah, so that's the plans at the moment with the oil catch can. So if this is something that you want to see, subscribe, and if you actually found this video informative or helpful in any way, shape or form, then smash that thumbs up button, because I really do appreciate it. So I'm not going to keep going on. It was just a little video because I haven't done anything on the T4 for quite a while, so I thought I'd show you what I'm doing, little bits and bobs. So, and also I failed to acknowledge specialist advice, as they said, do not attempt to do your tracking toe in, toe out with a piece of string. So I went against the specialist's advice.